Welcome back to Tales of History, where we unravel the dramatic and game-changing events that have shaped our world. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most pivotal battles of World War II, the Battle of Midway. This wasn't just another clash, it was a turning point that altered the course of the Pacific War. Picture this, two naval powers on a collision course, secrets and strategies swirling like storm clouds on the horizon. So, sit back, relax, and let's set sail back to 1942. To truly understand the Battle of Midway, we must first go back to the events that led up to this epic confrontation. The roots of this battle trace back to December 7, 1941, when Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, crippling the U.S. Pacific Fleet. The attack was intended to neutralize the United States as a naval power, giving Japan free rein to expand its empire across Southeast Asia and the Pacific. But the United States, though bruised, was not broken. Admiral Chester Nimitz took command of the Pacific Fleet and immediately began planning a counteroffensive. Meanwhile, the Japanese, under Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, sought to capitalize on their early successes. They aimed to lure the remaining American aircraft carriers into a trap at Midway Atoll, located roughly halfway between Asia and North America. Yamamoto's strategy was based on deception and surprise. By threatening Midway, he hoped to draw out and destroy the U.S. carriers that had escaped Pearl Harbor. However, the Japanese underestimated their opponent. Unbeknownst to them, American cryptographers had broken Japan's naval codes. The U.S. Navy, aware of Japan's plans, was ready and waiting. This intelligence coup would prove to be one of the greatest advantages the U.S. had in the upcoming battle. June 4, 1942. The day dawned with clear skies over Midway Atoll, but the tranquility of the morning belied the storm that was about to unfold. At around 4:30 a.m., the Japanese launched their initial airstrike against Midway. More than 100 aircraft, including bombers and fighters, took to the skies, aiming to soften up the defenses before the main attack. Meanwhile, American PBY Catalina flying boats spotted the Japanese fleet northeast of Midway. The sighting was confirmed, and the U.S. carriers, Yorktown, Enterprise, and Hornet, launched their aircraft in waves, seeking to catch the Japanese off guard. The first wave consisted of torpedo bombers, flying low and slow to deliver their payloads, but they faced a nightmare of anti-aircraft fire and swarms of agile Japanese Zero fighters. It was a disaster for the U.S. torpedo squadrons. Of the 41 planes that set out, only 6 returned. But their sacrifice was not in vain. The Japanese Combat Air Patrol, focusing on the torpedo bombers, was caught out of position when the second wave of American planes, dive bombers, arrived. These SBD dauntless dive bombers had the element of surprise and used it to devastating effect. In a span of just 5 minutes, 3 of the 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, were hit. Massive explosions rocked the decks as bombs penetrated hangars loaded with fuel and munitions. Fires engulfed the ships, and within hours they were sinking. The Japanese, stunned and reeling, had lost a substantial part of their striking power in a matter of moments. June 5, 1942. The day began with smoke still rising from the wreckage of the previous day's battle. The Japanese, though severely weakened, were not out of the fight yet. Admiral Yamamoto, aboard the battleship Yamato, considered his options. He decided to continue the engagement, hoping to draw the American fleet into a surface battle where his battleships could dominate. Meanwhile, the Americans were determined to press their advantage. Throughout the day, there were several skirmishes as both sides launched reconnaissance and strike missions. The Japanese carrier Hiryu, which had escaped the initial assault, launched a counterattack against the USS Yorktown. In a well-coordinated strike, Hiryu's planes hit Yorktown with bombs and torpedoes, causing severe damage. Yet, the Yorktown's crew fought valiantly to save their ship. Damage control teams worked tirelessly to put out fires and seal breaches. By the afternoon, Yorktown was still afloat, though crippled. The Americans continued their search for Hiryu, knowing that if they could take out this last carrier, the Japanese fleet would have no choice but to retreat. June 6th brought another day of tense maneuvers and sporadic skirmishes. The Japanese, realizing they could not win a protracted engagement, began to withdraw. But the Americans were not ready to let them go. They wanted to finish the job and ensure that Japan's carrier fleet would not pose a threat again. Reconnaissance planes from the Enterprise and Hornet finally located the Hiryu, steaming north and attempting to escape. A strike force was quickly assembled, and American dive bombers descended upon Hiryu like birds of prey. The attack was swift and lethal. Bombs struck the carrier, igniting fuel stores and munitions. Within hours, Hiryu was a burning hulk, eventually sinking beneath the waves. With Hiryu gone, all 4 of the Japanese carriers that had participated in the attack on Pearl Harbor were now destroyed. The Japanese fleet, battered and bloodied, began a full retreat westward, leaving behind a scene of devastation. For the Americans, the loss of the Yorktown was a heavy blow, but they had achieved a strategic victory beyond their wildest expectations. June 7th marked the end of the battle. The Japanese fleet, in full retreat, sought to escape American pursuit. For the United States Navy, the battle was over, but the cost was heavy. The loss of Yorktown, along with the destroyer USS Hamon, weighed on the hearts of many. Still, there was a sense of relief and triumph. The Japanese Navy, once the terror of the Pacific, was now crippled. Midway Atoll remained in American hands, and the balance of power in the Pacific had shifted dramatically. For Japan, the loss was catastrophic. 4 carriers, hundreds of planes, and over 3,000 sailors were gone. The aggressive expansion that had characterized Japan's early war efforts came to a screeching halt. From this point on, Japan would be on the defensive, reacting to American offensives rather than dictating the terms of engagement. How did the United States, with fewer carriers and aircraft, manage to come out on top? The answer lies in a combination of factors. Intelligence played a crucial role. Breaking the Japanese codes allowed Admiral Nimitz to plan the perfect ambush. The courage and sacrifice of American pilots, many of whom flew outdated planes, was another critical element. They faced long odds, yet they pressed home their attacks with a tenacity that caught the Japanese off guard. But perhaps the most significant factor was the element of surprise. The Japanese believed they had the initiative, but the Americans were waiting for them, ready to strike when the opportunity presented itself. This battle showed that even the most formidable opponent could be defeated with the right combination of preparation, intelligence, and bravery. The Battle of Midway left a lasting legacy with lessons that resonate to this day. First and foremost, the importance of intelligence and cryptography cannot be overstated. The ability to anticipate an enemy's moves gave the United States a decisive edge. This lesson has been applied in countless conflicts since, where information and the element of surprise often determine the outcome. Secondly, the battle highlighted the value of flexibility and the ability to adapt under pressure. American commanders made rapid decisions in the heat of battle, responding to changing circumstances with agility and decisiveness. This flexibility, contrasted with the rigidity of Japanese plans, made a critical difference. Lastly, the human element, the bravery, sacrifice, and determination of those who fought, was a defining feature of the battle. The pilots and sailors on both sides faced incredible odds, yet they pressed on, driven by duty and resolve. Their stories of heroism remind us that history is not just about strategies and battles. It's about people, ordinary men and women doing extraordinary things in extraordinary times. And that's the story of the Battle of Midway, a tale of courage, strategy, and turning tides. If you enjoyed this journey through history, make sure to like and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to Tales of History for more incredible stories from our past, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss a video from your favorite channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.